Good evening, everybody. I hope you are very, very well this Thursday evening. And as always, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing as I always ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to let us know where you are watching from, because me and Jackie would love to know exactly where in the country. I don't think we've got any further than Scotland at this point. So it would be lovely if anybody lives further than Scotland from the UK that we could actually just get them to put their names down, and also chuck some love hearts in when you see this. And if you're watching this later than the 8 p.m, then chuck some replays in there, hashtag replay on there. And in short moment, I am going to introduce somebody that I've been very, very excited to talk to for a very long time. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce somebody, the amazing and wonderful and looking very beautiful, may I say, Jackie White. And Jackie, I'm so happy that you said yes to me, because I'd been wondering if you were going to be able to do it, because I know you're really busy, you're in Spain, and I know you're just about to go on holiday as well. So I was kind of like, oh, I hope she says yes. And when you said I'd love to, I was like, yes, come on. It's a big jackpot. So I'm really, really happy that you've managed to say yes and come on to here. So listen, I want to ask you a couple of questions, but the first question is, I want to know a little bit about you. Where did you grow up? What was life like as a child for you? Where did you grow up in the UK?
I grew up in Birkenhead on the Wirral.
Ah, so is that almost a Scouser?
Yeah.
Ah, so
Yeah.
is that where Craig gets the Liverpool thing from?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. I get it now.
We're all Liverpool supporters, except for Peter. Yeah.
So he's the outcast, is he? So what was it like? What was it like growing up in the Wirral then when you were younger?
Oh, it was fabulous, because I lived with my nan a lot of the time until I went to school, because I used to get out of the garden and go for a walk, because I just wanted to say hello to big people. And I was about 3. And my mother used to worry, because as we went to the end of our road, if I turned right, it was the Newchester Road, which was the main road to Liverpool with lorries on. And if I turned left, it was the River Mersey. And my mother thought I was either going to be drowned or run over. But I kept getting out no matter what they did. I got out of the garden.
Did you?
So she sent me to live with my nan. And I lived near Bidston Hill, and I had lots of freedom, and it was wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you've been a bit of a wild child from the beginning then, by the sounds of it. Always like trying to go your own path.
Yeah, but yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Amazing. So you grew up, do you know when you were growing up and stuff, what was the environment like when you grew up? Was it quite an entrepreneurial background when you were growing up, or was it quite traditional?
And my dad was very entrepreneurial. My dad started Littlewoods Pools, believe it or not.
Littlewoods Pools, did he actually? What?
That's a long story. And he had a greyhound.
Wow.
And he used to race his greyhound. He was a butcher. He had his butcher shop, and he did all sorts. And then he was a bookie, and he used to do TikTok at the races. He did everything. So he was very much an entrepreneur. And then I said to my friends one day, should we get all our stuff and put it on trays and go and sell it around the houses? So we got buttons and all things we could find, my mum's little bits and bobs, their mum's little bits and bobs. And we went and we said, we're selling these for the dog's home. So we went round all these houses and we sold all this stuff for the dog's home. And we filled the trays up and went out again. Anyway, and we got all this money, and I had it for about 6 weeks. And I said, where is the dog's home? And they said, well, we don't know. We don't know where it is. And Yvonne said, let's go to the shops and spend it.
Oh.
So we went to the shops and bought sweets and all sorts. Anyway, I told my dad that night, and he went berserk. He said, you've got to go round to all those people who bought from you and tell them what you've done with the money. I said, it wasn't just me. He said, but it was your idea. And he went and he stood at the end of the path, and I went to knock on the door. And he listened to make sure I said it. And that taught me a really big lesson, that whatever you do, you have to pay the price.
Wow. That's good standards from the dad, though, isn't it? From your dad, that's pretty strong, isn't it? It's I guess really that sounds a little bit like, that's your first introduction to going door to door, or that kind of thing, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
going and having, and at such a young age to have confidence to come up with an idea and just go, okay, here's the rough idea, like let's go and take action on it.
yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. So that was growing up, and sort of, when did you realize that? Yeah, have you ever had a normal job, like a 9 to 5, or have you always been in the entrepreneur trade?
No, I had a normal job. I left school, I went to college, and I was a shorthand typist. So I worked from when I was 16 to when I was 20. Then I left and I got married. So
Fantastic. So you've had that experience of that 9 to 5, but I guess that wasn't for you, right?
no, never.
And what was your dream at that time? Did you have like an idea?
No, because believe it or not, I was very shy. In fact, I was extremely shy.
Oh wow.
I would go to a bus stop and I'd scan the bus stop, and if it was anyone I vaguely knew, I would walk to the next bus stop. But I wouldn't get on the bus if I knew anybody. And at the
Wow.
next bus, I'd scan it, and if there was anyone new, I'd walk to the next bus stop. So when I found there was nobody who knew me, I waited for the bus. And when I got on the bus, I would sit on a seat next to somebody upstairs. I wouldn't sit on a seat on my own in case somebody got on and sat by me and said, "Oh, hello, Jackie."
So that you had to talk.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know.
so
Wow, you'd never know that, because you're so, like, we've only known each other for what, maybe just over a year or so now, and I wouldn't, we'd never know. You're always so kind and caring and lovely and bubbly and outgoing. You would just never know that.
I'm not shy now, but
No, I know.
was.
Wow. So where did you learn to overcome that then?
Well, I rang up after this job ad in the paper. I had two little girls. One was 3 months old, one was just 2 and 1 month. And I rang up after this job, and the lady took my name and address, and then she told me what it was. I said, "Oh, I can't do that." She said, "Oh, it's all right, we'll train you." I said, "No, you can't give me confidence," and I put the phone down.
Really?
So anyway, about 4 days later, this man knocked at my door because I'd given my name and address. And he said, "I'm from Stanley Home Club." And I said, "Oh, you're not going to give me into trouble, are you?" He said, no, I want to explain about the job. I said, "I can't do it." He said, "Well, just let me explain." So we come in and he's explaining about this job, and I'm not listening. I'm teaching my daughter how to eat off a spoon. I'm going, as I'm giving her the food. And I'm not listening to him. Anyway, he got up and went. And as he got up to go, he said, "I'll pick you up at 6:30 tonight and take you to a party."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh," and he went. So I thought, "Oh, he's going to pick me up at 6:30. Well, my husband was a very jealous man. And I thought, "Oh, when this man comes in his MGBGT, my husband's going to go mad." Anyway, when he said, "I've rung up after this job, and this man's been to see me, and he's one of the people in this company, and it's like Jan did with Tupperware, and he's going to take me to see a party. Is that okay?" And he said, "Yeah, I suppose so." Anyway, this man took me to this party, and I had a hanky in my hand, and it was wet by the time I got there. I was so nervous.
Oh,
I said,
really?
"To anyone, do I?" He said, no, only if they ask you a question about yourself." Well, I watched him do it, and I thought, "I can't do this. I can't possibly do this." Going home, I said, "I can't do it. I just won't remember all that. I can't." He said, "Well, you can read off the cans." I said, no, I can't do it. Anyway, he dropped me off. And then he came round about 10 days later, and he said, "I've got a local party to you. I'll take you to see that one." And there was only 6 people there. Oh, he earned £18 at this party he took me to the first night. Well, my husband earned £3.10 a week, and this man had earned £18 in one night. But I still
What?
do it. So it was a massive party. They were all loaded, and they all bought lots. Anyway, he took me to this other one, and there was about 6 people there, and they were all very friendly and chatty, and he read off the cans to show me how easy it was. Anyway, we were going home and he said, I'll come round in a day or two and get you started. I said, okay. And he got me on, and I was hopeless. You had to ask people if they'd have a party, and I'd say to people, I don't suppose you want a party, do you? They say, no, love.
But
I was. And my mum came to a party with me one night, and when we come home, she said, are you stupid? Are you stupid?
did she?
She said, you got these scissors and you showed them in this lovely case, and you said, and these are our scissors and they're very good for cutting. She said, what else do you use bloody scissors for?
So she absolutely roasted you for that. Bless her.
And she said, why don't you describe the case? Look at things and describe it. You're intelligent, but I was so nervous about anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But anyway, after that, I got better and better and better. And then I thought, he came and asked me if I'd like to be a manager. I said, oh, I can't do that. He said, I said, I can't tell people what to do. He said, you can, you just show them what you do. I said, but I can't do anything. Anyway, the biggest thing I learned at this point was there was this 3 brushes in a charm set. Use one to massage your face, one to brush your powder off, and one for your nails. And they were gorgeous. And all the other products were household selling products, but these were beauty products. And I loved them. Anyway, I eventually started to go to meetings because I wouldn't go to meetings in case somebody spoke to me. And I eventually went to meetings. And on the second meeting I went to, I would sit there and I wouldn't speak to anybody. And this lady said, now somebody has sold the most of these charm sets than anyone in the whole company, not just in the Liverpool area, but in the whole company. And I'm going to ask her to come up and tell us what she says. And I thought, oh, who's that? And she said, me. And I thought, oh, I can't get up. And I was going like this. And she said,
oh, bless you.
Jacqueline, come. And as I was walking along, I thought, should I faint? Should I pretend to faint?
Pretend to faint. Was that your answer? Out of every option.
I wanted to faint. I didn't want to do it anyway. I got up and she said, she gave me this charm, said, could you just tell everybody what you say at your parties? Well, I look and everyone's looking at me. And there was this one woman at the front, her name was Kate, and she was smiling at me and she went, come on. And so I just spoke to her. I looked at her face and she's going, yes. And I looked at her and I said what I said, and everybody's taking notes. I thought, they're listening to me. Anyway, I sat down, but I always remember that, Kate. So when anybody spoke, who was nervous or wherever, I always sat and looked directly at them and smiled at them to give them confidence.
Wow. What a payback that is as well. You know, like, do you still, did you keep in touch with her for all that time after?
Oh yeah, because
did you?
I used to go to meetings a lot, and then I became successful and very successful. I won a trip to Rome. In fact, Craig's first trip to Rome, he stayed in the same hotel I stayed in 1969.
His first trip?
Yeah.
That he qualified for?
Yeah.
No way.
Trip. And he stayed at the Calvary Hilton, and that was the hotel I stayed in 1969.
On your first trip?
On my first trip.
That is unbelievable. I love that. That is so good. I mean, like, honestly, listen to that story. Just gives me goosebumps, because I can almost imagine how nervous you were. You wouldn't even go to any meetings. You didn't want to say anything. When all of a sudden, your top seller of a product you didn't know about in the company, not just in, the Liverpool area, not knowing what to say. So when did you notice? When did you have an internal feeling that you were getting quite good, or did other people tell you?
No, no. He asked me to be a manager, and I said I couldn't. And he said, well, how much is your mortgage? And I said, £28 a month.
£28 a month. I wish it was that now.
It's a lot of money then.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And he said, well, you can forget that because that will just be paid for if you. I said, would it really? So anyway, we moved into a new house and there were 8 houses in the road. So I knocked on the 8 doors and invited them to my house to a party. So they came to my house to a party, and I did this party because I was getting better at parties then. I was getting better at them. Mm-hmm. And I told them a little bit about the job, what I did and everything. And I said, I'd go out at night and I earn more than I earned in the day full time. So it's really good. Anyway, 4 of them joined me.
That night?
That night. And we all lived in the same road. But they could all drive. I couldn't drive. I had to learn to drive. But we had a Mini, so my husband would come home and I'd go out in the Mini, and I took one of them with me to train them. So every night I took a different one with me to train them how to do the job.
Wow. That is incredible. I love that. It's honestly, it's so like, I know we've only just started, but I'm proper invested in this. I love this story of like how you're explaining that you're growing, and then obviously you had that party. What do you think changed in the way that you spoke about the products and the company? Because obviously you started to become really successful. You've held a house party and instantly 4 people have joined. How did you go around talking about the products and the opportunity?
Well, I just said, this is what I do this is my full-time job really, but it's only part-time. And I only work in the evenings when the children are in bed. And then they don't miss me. And I've got them all day, but I earn more than I did in a full-time job. So it's better than having a job really. So,
wow. That's the easiest pitch ever, isn't it? It's so simple, but it's honest as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And then another way I used to recruit, my washing machine broke down. I went to the laundrette one day and I'm sitting watching my machine go round and round. This woman sat next to me and we're having a little chat, And I said, do you work? And she said, yeah. She told me what she did. She said, do you? I said, well, I do at night. I go out at night and do a few parties at night, and I just show me products and people buy, and I earn more at night than I did in my full-time job. But I'm with my children all day, so they don't miss me at night. It's really good. So she joined. So then I told all my team to go to the laundrette because somebody's bound to talk to you, and you can tell them what you do and then they'll join. So
simple.
It's so simple. And I thought, I can't tell people what to do, but all you do is you tell them what you've done. So, and I went to every meeting. We had a meeting every Monday morning. And I went to every meeting and I learned. I used to write down in shorthand what people said, how they held the products, how they reacted. I learned off everybody, and I did them in front of the mirror. So I would get the salt and pepper, saying, this is this product. And so I learned to be better, to be better.
So it just goes to prove that you don't even have to be born with the skills of being a mega recruiter or an ultra salesperson. You can learn to be better, which it sounds like. And what company was that with that you started in? In what year was that?
Stanley Home Products. That was 1967.
Wow. Oh my days. You are like royalty in the network marketing industry.
But I was the first person in the company to recruit 100 people.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the person that recruited you must have been like, I found a diamond here. I found an ace, as Craig would say.
Yeah. I don't think he thought that in the beginning. I was.
Oh, it's so good. And so after that, did you stay with that company or did you move on?
I stayed with that company, and then the lady who joined me in the beginning, she left, and this guy came, and he liked me. I was his favorite. and he would send me lorries of goods to promote to my girls, but I used to give it to the other managers. And anyway, I didn't like this man, so I left and I started my own business with my friend, who was, I was like my mentor really, but I started my own business with her. And then eventually, then we opened a salon, because we were sitting in the in the sauna one day, and I said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a salon? And we taught, because we went to a makeup school, and we went to learn to be makeup artists.
Wow.
Because this guy rang me and I said, can I bring a friend? He said, yeah. So anyway, we went and we learned to be makeup artists. And then we used to ring the pubs, because they were very busy people, but they had money. So we'd ring pubs and we would go and we'd do a lady each, and they'd buy the makeup. Anyway, I said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a salon? And we played golf and we came here and we went shopping, and then we just went back and we cashed up each night. She said, yeah, that we were just dreaming. Anyway, that night she rang me, she said, there's a shop in the paper. I said, June, we've got no money. She said, let's go and see it. So it was in Brassey Street. So we went to Brassey Street and I met this lady, and I walked into the shop and I didn't see this shop as it was. There were 4 dryers there, 2 sinks here and 2 things, but I saw it all painted white with purple curtain halfway through with all rings on, and all purple behind these 4 dryers. I thought, I can do this. Anyway, I said to this lady, June's going. So I said to this lady, can we have your keys when you close on Saturday afternoon? Can we have your keys then? But can we pay you the money next Tuesday, the Tuesday after? She went, oh. And I said, where do you live? And she said, and I said, oh, you know, Duke Street. Do you know the butcher in Duke Street? She said, you mean Ronnie? I said, yeah, that's my dad. She said, you're not Ronnie's girl, are you? I said, yeah. You can give me the money when you like, darling.
No way.
Because my dad had 2 shops then, and then he closed that one, and he used to then deliver to his customers, and he used to deliver to this lady still. And
wow.
She said, if you're Ronnie's girl, and that's what I named my book. Ronnie.
Yeah, I know that you wrote, you had written a book. How long ago did you write that?
2 years ago.
Wow, fantastic. And where's that available? Is that available on Amazon, or is it available? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We'll put the link in the comments below for anybody that wants to check that book out, because I think it's going to be a really exciting one to read, actually.
It started when I was 3 or 4, and it just went on. All my dad, really, all what my dad taught me, because when I actually joined network marketing, it was in 1996, really. I joined this
96.
Called this company called Jewelway.
Okay.
And this man rang me and he said, I'm the highest income earner in this company. Well, I wasn't impressed with that. And he said, but your niece from Australia is joined my business. And I thought, oh, what have they got themselves into?
Oh, no.
At that time, I joined another company. And we lived in Peterborough by then, because we lived in, I left my husband and went to live in Mallorca with my 2 children. And that's where I met Peter. So we came back, we lived in Kent, and then we moved to Peterborough. And what was I telling you? Oh, yeah. And anyway, this fellow he was chasing me. So I said, well, I'll come and see you. He said, come to Beaconsfield. And I said, well, I can't come for 6 weeks. So it was about 6 weeks later that I went down to see him. And this lady up there, she said, oh, could you sit here? Eric's busy at the moment. He's on the phone. So we sat down. She put a video on, and it's showing all these people prancing about and these aeroplanes flying across the top. And it said Jewelway behind. I thought, oh, it's jewelry. I'm not interested. I'm not doing jewelry. And anyway, at the end of it, this woman was saying how much she earned, and it was like $300,000 I thought, that's a lot of money. I'm trying to work out in pounds. Anyway, he came into the room and I said, how does that blonde woman earn all that money? And he drew it on a thing, and I thought, all the people, because by that time I was the national sales manager of this company. I started off as a demonstrator, but I ended up the national sales manager. So I said, I can't do this, but I know somebody who can. He said, oh, they're like you. And I said, they will be. Because if I joined, my company would have sued me. I had to give 6 months notice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And they'd have sued me if they'd have known I was involved. So anyway, I drove home. Peter had just driven from Spain because he was a coach driver. So he'd just driven from Spain and he was in bed, and I ran upstairs and said, Peter, quick, I've got a video to show you. It's very important. You've got to get it
And he's like this. What do you want?
I'm tired. Go away. I said, no, get up now. I'll make you a cup of tea. Get up now. Anyway, he got up and he come down. He was lying on the couch. I said, sit up. It's important. And I showed him this video. And I said, you've got to come tomorrow. They've got a barbecue tomorrow and you've got to come. Now, if you do this, you can give up your job. He said, what is it? I said, well, I don't know, but you can give up your job if you're going to do it. So anyway, I took him down the next day and he said he'd do it. So he gave up his job and they taught him how to do it. So I was helping him with that, but I was working 80 hours a week at my full-time job. And I was helping him recruit people. And we recruited, that was 18 months before. And then I knew my company was going to close down. And all my people were saying, Jackie, you've got to find us something. We're the main breadwinners of the family. You've got to find us something. I said, oh, well, don't worry. Anyway, I found this jewelry and I thought they could do it. And I told my sales manager North and my sales manager South, I told them in September. They joined. Then we told their senior managers before Christmas and they joined. They all got into it. And then in January, I was doing meetings with all these managers and their people. And one day I signed up 129 people in one day.
Yes, Jackie. Love that.
But it was all the managers and their, do you know what I mean? And then that night there was a conference and Eric rang me from Australia, said there's a conference tonight, but the UK is not included. But this is the number for you to click in on. So we clicked in on it and this president of the company said, before I go any further, I want to announce that the UK is closed as from now. And it signed 129 people in that day.
Oh, no.
And some of them joined with £3,000 of jewellery.
Oh, no.
So
I bet you felt mortified.
I did. And, well, when he finished on the phone, Eric said, look, we're going to have a 3-way call with him. We've got to save this. You and Peter could run this company better than it's run now. You and Peter could run it. I said, we can. So anyway, in the meantime, I rang these people, the managers, and I said, tell your people not to send any money to the company and not to send any jewelry back if they've got jewelry, not to send it back. There's just a few hiccups at the moment. I didn't tell them what had happened, of course, I couldn't. Until I knew if we could save the company. Anyway, we tried, and in the end, we went on this cruise, but in the meantime, this man, a friend of ours, rang me up and he'd be bumping into me for 2 years or ringing me up for 2 years asking me to join this company. And he rang and he said, Jackie, I'm really sorry about your company closing. And he said, but will you just listen to this because it's wonderful. And I thought, I've got to let him come round because he'll never stop bothering us. So I said, come round in an hour, Tony, and tell me all about it. So he said, okay, we will. So I rang, Peter was upstairs. I said, Tony's coming to explain his company. He said, I'm not doing catalogues.
Oh, did he?
He said, I'm going to sell diamonds and gold. He didn't want to sell cleaning stuff. He wanted to sell diamonds again. I said, we're only going to listen. Anyway, he came round and he was telling us about it. And I said, how much do you earn, Tony? He said, last month. He said, 3,700. I said, well, anyone can earn that much in a promoted period. What did you earn the month before? He earned 3,005. Well, what did you earn the month before? 3,006. And he showed me his paychecks.
Okay.
So I said, okay, so that's a good income. That's 45,000 a year. So he said, yeah. I said, okay. How long did it take you to get there? He said, 4 years. I said, oh, I can't wait that long. He said, you won't make the same mistakes as me. And he said, and you've got experience. You can build people. You can recruit. And I said, well, yeah. I said, okay, we'll start. But he said, well, come to this meeting tonight. And I was really hot on meetings. If there was a meeting, and I would say to anybody, go to meetings, learn from the people who are doing it, write everything down, copy what they do. And you can't fail to succeed. There's not a question about being shy and not being able to do anything, not having confidence. Just copy people and you'll succeed. You really will. Anyway, I went to this meeting and I thought, oh, my people are going to be so terrible about this. They're going to think they're above putting catalogues out. So I'm going to have to prove that it can be done and then contact them. So anyway, we came back and I said, you've got to stay till after midnight because I'm going to join on Friday the 13th. Oh. It's lucky.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, it's unlucky. I said, no, it's lucky, Friday the 13th. So we stayed till after midnight. We signed the contract and we started with 400 catalogues and I made a plan. And we had to earn £1,000 a month from the start. Okay. So I made a plan and he said, you got £1 a catalogue you put out. So I thought, well, if we put 1,500 catalogues out in a week and collect them in, that's 1,000. Yeah, well, we can make that. We can make that money. So I did a plan. So we put 400 catalogues out the next day, picked them up the next day, put them out again, picked them up the next day, put them out, picked them up. Anyway, we sold £993 and we earned just over £300 that week. So I knew we could make £1,000 a month. So we got busy and then Peter fell off the curb and sprained his ankle.
Yeah.
Won't be able to deliver these products. I said, you will, because the customers will know that you're serious. If you go up to their door on crutches and deliver the product and take the money, they'll know you're serious. So he did. He told them all I pushed him off the curb.
It's funny you say that because actually Craig said to me, because before this I said to Craig, got anything that, maybe I would not know about your mum? He went, yeah, ask her to tell the story. She pushed my dad off a curb. Went, oh, really?
But I never. He fell off.
But it made for a good sale.
It did. It made all the customers realise. And we did 4 sequences. And then the fellow who was above us, he was about 4 above us. He lived in our village and he stopped me one day. He said, how are you doing? I said, oh, great. We finished this week. Next week we go to Sawtry and we do down by the farm and then we do the other bit and then we do the bit at the top and then we come back to this village. And that was our 4-weekly cycle, putting 400 catalogues out a day. Peter lost a lot of catalogues because he wouldn't keep his book straight. He thought he'd remember where they were.
Do you think a massive part of that then was the planning stage? Not obviously the execution, but the planning of it, meticulous planning.
Planning of everything. It was all had to go to plan because we had to make the money. And then I asked Tony Judson what his income goal was. He said £10,000 a month. I said, £10,000 a month? Can you really earn that much? He said, yeah. people are earning 18, 20,000. And I said, who? So he told me their names. I thought, I've got to meet these people. I said, okay, £10,000 a month. I said, I'll do that in 5 years. I'll write a plan. What do I have to be? He said, Premier. I said, what's a Premier? So he told me what. So I had to have all these people, all these managers, all these people. So I thought, I'll work that out and I'll write a plan. So we had a really strict plan that we never broke. And it meant that Peter and I recruited into the business 8 people a month, every month.
Wow.
Now that's not hard. It was only 1 a week each.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm.
And it's not hard as long as you've got enough leads. And the thing is creating the leads. All you've got to do is create the leads, and then you speak to people. It's different now because you're all on the internet, but then we had to go and see people
I
face to
prefer that.
Yeah, I know. But we did. We went to see them face to face, and yeah. But
Wow.
and it was wonderful, and we grew and grew and grew, and then we had key meetings, and we started with 4 people in our kitchen, and then it grew and grew, and it took 4 years for us to get Craig into the business.
So he resisted.
Oh, he was terrible. All of
Was
our
he? Right, here we go. Right, so if anybody knows Craig and knows him now, you're about to hear who he was.
Yeah.
Let it all go.
Yeah. He came round one day and he opened off. He said, "Where's your food?" I said, "No, we buy beans from Aldi, Craig. We're all right." He said, "I'm going to do your shopping." I said, "There's no need." He said, "I'm doing your shopping." Anyway, he went out and he did shopping for us. And he came back and I said, "Craig, we could buy steak. We can buy steak. Or we could put an ad in the paper each week. Now, the steak will be gone in one meal, but the ad will produce a lot of leads. And we're going to earn £10,000 a month, and it will never drop back. Once we hit a level of income, we don't allow it to drop back because we built wide and we built strong and we made our people strong and we taught them what to do and we coached them and we advised them and we helped them and we made them strong." When you recruit 8 people a month, they don't all stay.
No.
Some don't even put the catalogues out. Some do a few things. Some you can't reach them, but others stay for quite a while and others stay for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So out of the 8, maybe 2 or 3 don't ever do much.
Yeah.
You know, it's a numbers game. So we just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
Wow. And then what was the breaking point for Craig, do you think, for him to do you feel that when Craig was there, did it remind you a little bit of you going, "Oh, I'm not doing it," but you kept coming back to him?
Yeah. I knew Craig would be good at it. I knew he would if he applied himself. I knew he'd be very good because of what he did. And but he wouldn't listen until we were in Australia. Oh, we were in Australia, and he started to put some catalogues out for a bit of extra money. Then he went to live in Jersey with me daughter, and he saved £10,000 when he lived in Jersey. And because he worked full time, his girlfriend worked full time, and they put catalogues out in the evenings, and they saved £10,000 to go traveling. So when he went traveling, we won a trip to Australia, and he was in Australia, and I told him we were in Cairns at the hotel we were in, and he said, "I'll be there that day, I'll come and see you." So he did, and then he came down in the evening and we were all dressed to go for dinner and everybody was in their finery, and he saw Jamie and Adele Di Casso and he thought, "They're not very old and they're successful. They're not all old like my mum and dad," because I was in my 50s when I joined this company. And he said, "They're not all old like my mum and dad." I thought, well, 50's not bloody old.
Cheeky.
Such a cheek. And anyway, then he came down to breakfast and he was talking to a lot of the people. I thought, yeah, talk to them, talk to them. So then when he came back, he decided he would do it.
Wow. And that was that.
But he walked down the road with these catalogues on his shoulder in this big bag, and he saw some friends coming up the road, so he dropped it behind this car and walked on. He said, "Hi, mate," and kept on walking. And these men said hi, and they walked past. And then he ran and picked his catalogues up when they're gone.
Did he? Because he was embarrassed. I bet he's not embarrassed now.
No, he's not.
You'd have a big pink bag with loads of catalogs in now. That's such a good story. I mean, it's like, it's so nice to hear that, like where you've come from, then you've built, but also what I really loved hearing is the fact that you made people strong, because sometimes it's not about you believing in yourself, it's about other people believing in you, isn't it?
Yeah, and being a leader isn't about being the best at what you do. It's about encouraging, inspiring people, coaching people. Don't give up on anybody. Keep coaching them until they get to their goal, unless they're not interested, and then you can drop them and work with the ones who are interested. Keep coaching them. You can always go back for the others when they're ready to roll.
Do you think it's now, obviously, network marketing has changed so much, hasn't it, from when you first started, that face-to-face thing, and now it's all online. Do you think any of the old school methods still work today?
Yeah. People, they're going to put catalogues out, but they buy 50. You need 150 or 200 catalogues to make a go of cataloguing. I mean, I remember one day when we were first in the business, and I was going to RAF Wittering.
I know that place very well.
Yeah, to put flyers out. And anyway, I thought I'll put lots of flyers. I'll put 200 or 300 flyers out, but I thought I'll take some catalogues with me and put them out at the same time. Well, with it being RAF Wittering, there was no map of the place, but there was a big map on a board. So I picked the longest road and I started to put my catalogues out in this road. So I went all the way up one side. I put about 130 odd catalogues. Then I crossed over and put catalogues coming a few doors down. So anyway, then I went and put all my flyers out. Then the next day I took more flyers and I went to pick my catalogues up. And when you pick your catalogues up, you knock on the door if it's not out. If nobody's in, you put a slip through the door to say, I'll pick it up tomorrow. So put a slip through the door, the next one not in, slip through, and nobody put the catalogues out. All the way along this road, 140 odd houses, and not one person had put the catalogue out, not one. And I thought, I can't believe this. And I never get down. Nothing ever knocks me, ever. Nothing. I never get miserable. I never get down or anything. There's always a lesson to be learned. But I couldn't believe this. And my face was... Anyway, I crossed over the road, knocked on the door, nobody in. Put a catalogue through, put a note through, knocked on the next door, and this lady opened the door, and I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Jackie from Clean Easy. I wonder if you finished with my catalogue." She said, "Oh, yes, I've got you an order." I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And anyway, I said, "And I'll deliver on this day." I said, "You know something? I put catalogues all down this road, the whole road, and not one person's put a catalogue out." She said, "They won't, love. They were all posted to Germany on Saturday."
Well, at least it didn't make you feel like you were going crazy.
140 odd catalogues. I couldn't believe I'd lost so many. So when anyone used to moan about losing catalogues, I said, "How many did you lose?" "Well, 10 or 15. "Well, I'll tell you." And I tell you.
Yeah, I've got a story for that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, like, obviously, network marketing is very close to your heart, and it's, with myself and Santa, we do it, and we're, in the business as well. What do you feel that, like, network marketing will give you, apart from the money? Because we all know that you can earn as much as you want in network marketing as long as you've got the desire, the attitude, and take the action that's required. But apart from the money, what else do you think that this industry gives you?
Oh, it gives you a family, friends,
Mm.
friends that are extension of your family. It gives you, you're training people and you're teaching people and you're coaching and they succeed. And that is a wonderful, wonderful feeling when they succeed so much. The feelings in the business are, you're always on a high. I'm always high. I never, ever, ever get down, ever. I never have in my life anyway. But there is so much to be thankful for. And this company, I've gone through a lot of companies in all of these years. And this company by far outweighs every single one of them.
Really?
It is a wonderful, wonderful company to be part of. Absolutely wonderful. The way they make it, everything about them. When we first joined, we were invited to Sweden, and even in their offices, they're not like normal offices, and they've got bowls of fruit everywhere and food everywhere for people to just take. And honestly, in the offices,
Really?
it's wonderful. Absolutely it's not like a normal office, and they've got like little booths that you can go and sit quiet if you want to think about something.
Wow.
It's absolutely unbelievable. It's taking the psychology of the person and putting everything there for them in the
Wow.
office.
So they're building an environment for people to win, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are. And everywhere, even all of the factories, everything is, they use no electricity. It's all done. They all make their own electricity
Wow.
on every factory and warehouse all over the world.
Crazy, isn't it?
Wonderful, wonderful company. It's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, we feel very blessed, me and Santa, to have found it. You know, obviously through Craig, and now we get to meet you and Pete and everybody. And like you say, that is so true what you say about that family feeling. I remember the first time I sat in the back of the room when I wasn't part of Oriflame at the time, but Santa had joined, and I think it was the first time I met you. You were sat just in front, and Pete was there, and I just looked around and thought, "There's so many different people here." You know, there's no segregation.
No,
There's no top leaders at the front, big gap,
no.
and then the minions at the back. It's everybody together, leaders sat in amongst their teams, and everybody cheering for other people, not just in their own teams.
Yeah.
It's special.
Do you know the first time Peter and I went to a Clean Easy conference, our sponsor sat at the front in this row with all the top sponsors, and we sat at the upstairs on our own. Anyway, as soon as I got a team, I sat with them, and when we got to gold and SED, and no, we got to bronze, my sponsor said, "Oh, you can come to the front now." I said, "No, I'm sitting with my team."
Yes.
You don't get away from your team. That's your bread and butter. Everything.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm going to read out some of the comments while we've been talking. I know you can't see them, but some of the comments that are on Facebook at the moment. Lots and lots of love for you, Jackie, from everybody. There's been Gary. She said hi. Jodie said yay. You're from Liverpool. My mum used to live where her nan did. So you used to live where Jodie's nan used to live.
Oh,
Yeah,
Worcester Road.
Jodie Bush. I don't know if it's the same name. It probably isn't. Maybe it's a new married name, but she used to live there. Gary says she loves your book. I'm going to definitely get that. Melanie says hi. We've got lots and lots of highs. Then we've got Susie says, I used to love looking at the Clean Easy catalogue my mum used to get. So there we go, you know.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. And that's one of the reasons, you know, it's so good. Oh, Susie's just popped another one and she says, I love working where there is top down, bottom up communication and work ethics. I think we've got that in abundance at Oriflame, and I can see it just growing. The company's growing in the UK. Some of the, you know, the things that are coming out. I was on a meeting today about something very exciting to do with subscriptions, and I was just like, wow, this is going to be fantastic. So yeah, it's really good. Listen, I love hearing your story, and I'm going to go and get your book because I haven't read it yet, and I'm going to go and get it, and I'm going to post a link down the bottom for everybody to get it. But listen, I've loved hearing from you tonight, and I've loved knowing about your journey growing up, being naughty, skipping out the door and, you know, doing your own thing. And I love the vulnerability as well, where you really didn't want to do something, but that guy kept coming back in a car to come and get you, even though everybody kept telling you what you're doing, this isn't right. And you were just like, oh, I don't know. To see you grow and develop and then go and break records without knowing it to begin with, and then become this, like, you know, network marketing superstar, growing a huge team, to then leading your son to just do exactly the same, you know. And I think, you know, if you're watching this and you know Craig, then you'll definitely know Jackie White. And me and Santa and everybody else, we all get the privilege of working with you guys. So thank you so much for your time tonight. It was a pleasure sharing a wine with you on screen. And thank you for your time. We're going to say goodnight, guys. Thank you for joining and tuning in with me and Jackie White this evening. If you are watching this, guys, and you're watching this after 8 o'clock on Thursday, then press hashtag replay. Feel free to share this as well, because there are some absolute golden nuggets about manifesting the life that you want, about never giving up, about believing in yourself, about believing in other people, even when they don't believe themselves. So have a good night, have rest, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.